his take, and really speaking for the Republican Party in general, on what the stimulus did.
He scared employers, so jobs were scarce. His nearly $1 trillion stimulus created not one net new job in the private sector.
Governor Schwarzenegger, that is where the Republicans are. The stimulus was a failure, and it did not create one net new job in the private sector. True?
Well, to me, I find it interesting that you have a lot of the Republicans running around and pushing back on the stimulus money and saying this doesn't create any new jobs. And then they go out and they do the photo ops and they're posing with the big check and they say, isn't this great? Look what the kind of money I provide here for the state. And this is great money to create jobs. And this has created 10,000 new jobs. And this has created 20,000 new jobs and all of those kind of things. It doesn't match up. So exactly. So I mean, I think
hypocrisy at the highest level.
I think I don't want to beat up of my Republican colleagues, but I think that it's kind of politics rather than thinking about only one thing. And this is, how do we support the president? How do we support him and do everything that we can in order to go and stimulate the economy, get the economy back, and think about the people rather than politics? I have been the first governor of the Republican governors to come out and to support the stimulus money, because I said to myself, this is terrific. And anyone that says that it hasn't created a job, they should talk to the 150,000 people that have been getting jobs in California.
Private sector?
Yeah, from the private sector
Absolutely.
and also from the public sector. I mean, if it is teachers, if it is university professors, if it is people that are building infrastructure and stuff like that. I mean, there's in every category, there's jobs that have been created in California. 150,000. These are 150,000 people that are going home today with a check, that are providing for the family, that can buy the textbooks for their kids, that are feeling wanted and needed and feeling productive. I mean, about a job, it's not just a job, it's all those kind of other things. So I'm happy that we got this money. I'm happy that we have put 150,000 people to work, and there will be more people that we will put to work.
You do it again. Do Pennsylvanians think it worked?
Yeah, I think basically they do. And, Mitt Romney's a pretty smart guy. He was very clever there. He said net new jobs. We could fill up every baseball stadium in this country, Terry, with people who got jobs or whose job was saved by the stimulus. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Pennsylvania's budget is a little under $28 billion. We get almost $3 billion this year from stimulus. Take that $3 billion away. We've cut most of our program grants to the bone. You'd have to lay off. I'd have to lay off 37,000 state workers to balance the budget. We have 76,000 state workers. If we did it with counties, it would be teachers, firemen, policemen, emergency workers. So has it saved jobs? You bet it has. Has it created jobs? I'll take Governor Romney out to any construction site in Pennsylvania, and then we'll drive him from the construction site back to the steel plant that provided the steel for the bridge. He knows better.
But as Governor Schwarzenegger says, it's politics, but it's politics that gained traction. And I want to ask you, Governor Rendell, big fanfare this week. The Obama administration fanned out across the country. The stimulus worked. The president made speeches sound a little frustrated that people don't get it. At least polls show that they don't understand there were tax cuts and things like that. What did they do wrong? They're playing defense on what was one of their major accomplishments. What did the White House, the president, do wrong in explaining, presenting, and selling?
Ironically, the best communicator in the history of political campaigning turned out in his first year in office to not communicate very well. They let the Republicans take the spin right from the beginning. The stimulus got beat up before $1 was spent. What I would have done, had I been in charge of the president, is I would have had him Tuesday night was the inaugural ball. Wednesday night, I would have had him make a speech to the nation, break down what stimulus was. There's a lot of the stimulus that wasn't job creation, but was safety net. But not safety net for people on welfare, safety net for hardworking Americans who lost their jobs, extending unemployment benefit. Is there anybody in the Congress? The Republicans aren't going to raise their hands and vote against that, right? Everyone's in favor of that. That was an important component of stimulus. COBRA, health care benefits for people who lost their jobs. But we never explained it from the get-go, and we lost the spin war. The stimulus has done a great job for America, but we lost the spin war. And once you lose it, it's hard to get it back.
It's a very aggressive Republican positioning here, and I want to go back to the CPAC conference. The Republicans reasserted their congressional power essentially with a massive campaign of obstruction, filibusters, more than 100 in 1 year, 80% of major legislation. And as Mike Pence, congressman from Indiana, one of the Republican conservative leaders in the House, put it at CPAC, they're proud of that record.
Sometimes no is just what this town needs to hear. When it comes to more borrowing, the answer is no. When it comes to more spending, the answer is no. When it comes to more bailouts, the answer is
Governor Schwarzenegger, is the Republican Party, your party, the party of no right now?
Well, they have to take the opposite position. I mean, because, of course, when it comes to the party itself, they have to do everything they can in order to win in November. So they're going to say no to everything, and they're going to say it is not good what Obama is doing. That's
natural.
The
party of no.
They're the party of no, and at the same time, I think that there's a lot of people that are disenchanted and dissatisfied, and they're angry, and this is why you have the Tea Party and all of those things. The Tea Party is not going to go anywhere. I think the Tea Party is all about just an expression of anger and dissatisfaction. And I see it in California when people come up to me and say, I'm angry that you guys don't get along in Sacramento. I'm angry that they're not getting along in Washington. I'm angry that nothing gets done. I'm angry that I'm unemployed. I'm angry that people are losing homes. I'm angry that businesses are losing their businesses and all of those kind of things. And the economy is down. But that's not only the case in California. That's not only the case in America. That's the case all over the world. If you read 6 newspapers from different parts in the world, and you will see the headlines are pretty much the same. They're all angry at the leaders because the economy is down and the world basically is 1/3 less worth right now. And so that makes people angry. So I think the key thing for the Obama administration is to just keep staying on track. Nothing is going to be easy. And you're going to fail, and you're going to do well, and you're going to fail, and you're going to do well. If you look at the Olympics, I think all of the lessons in life you can learn from sports. I mean, this girl Barn, who just had the gold medal in skiing and did a fantastic race in the downhill. But the next day she hooked her ski, she wiped out. That's the way it is, and totally accepted in sports. Totally accepted. People say, that's too bad, is it? But the next time she's going to go to the giant slalom, and then there will be the slalom. And so in politics, when you fail, it's like the end of the world because the press keeps piling on you and beating you up and all of those kind of things. I am never afraid of failing. I've failed several things that I tried to do in California, but we have won with many things that we've tried in California and we've done in California. Just redistricting. It was a perfect example. 5 times we tried redistricting, and we lost and lost and lost. And people said, don't you get the message? The people said, no. And I said, I would never get the message. I will always try, and the 5th time, we got it. And we won it. The same will be with open primaries now in June. We will win open primaries because people want to have politicians not to be so far apart, left and right, and then cannot get in the middle and get anything done. They want to get together. They want us to work together. And this is why this partnership is so perfect, because Bloomberg is an independent, Rendell is a Democrat, I'm a Republican. So what we are saying is we are for rebuilding America, but it's not a political issue. It's a people's issue. We want to serve the people of America.
And people want to see that, and that kind of bipartisan. But right now we have this partisan divide. So let me ask you directly, Governor Rendell, does President Obama, having been outmaneuvered by the party of no right now, as the governor says, does he need a shakeup? Does he need some new blood in the White House?
No, I think they need to just take a deep breath, look at what happened, and revamp their strategy. They've still got the best communicator I've ever seen in my life in politics. But, Terry, I want to say something about Representative Pence. He seems to be a very decent person. But what he just said there is the most dangerous prescription for America. No spending, no borrowing. How in God's name, I was a former prosecutor, I'd love to cross-examine Representative Pence. How in God's name does he think we're going to repair this nation's infrastructure, stay competitive, give safety to our people, improve our quality of lives? Every business that's successful in this country has at some key moment reinvested in itself, usually by borrowing or taking out of capital reserves. They reinvested, they created another product line, built a new factory. If you don't invest in your future, you will die. And Representative Pence and the people at that convention, when they say no borrowing, no spending, no investment, they're writing out a prescription form for this country becoming a second-rate power. And I don't think the governor and I and there are others out there with us, we're going to fight that theory, because we've got to invest in our future. If we don't invest, what's going to happen to American manufacturing?
The challenge, of course, they're looking at an ocean of red ink. One of the other things that happened in Washington, the president appointed a national commission on the debt. Alan Simpson, one of the co-chairs, did an interview with Judy Woodruff on PBS in which he